And welcome into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. This is a rare night for one Andrew Raycroft.
This is a unicorn.
This has been
a unicorn
for the first time since January 20th. Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is coming to you after a Bruins victory. We actually had to check this 3 times to make sure that we were accurate.
Crazy.
And as Razor pointed out, we did a pregame brew before the New York Ranger game, February 1st, if I remember correctly, was the day. Bruins win, we don't do a show after. So we don't understand the euphoria that is Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor post-victory. As the Bruins skate to a 7-2 throttling of the New Jersey Devils. This comes after the Bruins lose the game before, I should say, to the Buffalo Sabres, which we did do a show after as well. That game was 6-3. Before we get to all the fun stuff, and we're going to have a little fun with it, why the hell not? Let's remind you that Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor is proudly presented by our lead in-pod sponsor, Fazenda Coffee. They partner with cafes, bakeries, and restaurants to provide top quality through their wholesale program, but they also provide you top quality coffee for the home too. Shop directly at fazendacoffee.com. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping on orders over $35. If you are not a Fazenda Coffee purchaser, get 15% off your first order. You go there. You can also use you can also go to the Morning Brew stuff, Morning Brew Blend, Morning Brew Clean Canteen, the Morning Brew hats. Go to fazendacoffee.com/morning brew. So whether you're running a business or you just want a great cup of coffee at home, Fazenda has got you covered. Bruins got themselves covered in this one. Razor, I was not expecting this. I wasn't expecting them to, turn upside down like Cooper, when I'm playing with him and give up. I mean, but they came out 2-0, 3-0. They give up 2 goals in a matter of seconds. What was it? 19 seconds, I believe, those 2 goals. Yet they bend, they don't break. And the next thing you know, everybody's getting involved. What a night for the Bruins. So many things to get to, but just overall thoughts on a night that I wasn't expecting.
No, I mean, they had a pretty bad finish to the Buffalo game the other night. We did get the sense that New Jersey wasn't really there, no. Like they're kind of, they're in a spot just like Carolina, who lost to Buffalo tonight. So
how about that? Yeah.
They're kind of on the same track as this Devils team. This could be a pillow fight in the first round between these two teams. But never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that the Bruins were going to have 7 different guys score goals. I mean, I bet they haven't had 7 different goal scorers in the past since the deadline. And they got them all in one game. So that's fun. Again, it means absolutely nothing to me, but
right. I get it.
But I do feel good for the guys. I'm happy for them that they can get on the plane, and because I know people, I know people think that it really hurts guys. It really affects guys. So they get to get on the plane and have fun tonight. They get to have a beer. They get to have a glass of wine and hang out and actually play cards and joke around and really enjoy it. So that's the good news. That's what it is the fact that everybody or a lot of guys contributed and the young guys showed something for, which was nice.
This comes after a tough travel day for the Bruins as well the day before.
Yeah.
It was a
good thing.
Maybe that helped. Maybe that little extra time or maybe it kept them out of the city. That's well, the Bruins, a little bit of travel delay, but that's part of the biz. It happens to everybody. But they get into the New York, New Jersey area. They don't seem to let it bother them whatsoever. And boy, nothing is bothered except for maybe a couple of periods on that West Coast road trip. Nothing has bothered David Pastrnak. What he is doing continues to amaze. Another goal, another couple of assists. He hits 100 points, 3rd consecutive season. We did say in the season preview Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor that we had him down for, 100, no problem. Maybe 110, no problem, right?
Hey, we were right. We were right about that. I'm taking that win, 100%. I'm taking it. Thank God he got 11 points in the last 6 periods.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this was as we said in post game, this was a hope. Let's hope he gets to 100. Maybe he's got an outside chance. Same thing for Morgan Geeky. Well, Pastrnak hits 100. Geeky hits 30 goals. Really impressive and really feel good stuff in a year that has been, as you look at the big picture, Razor, void of many feel good moments.
It has, and thankfully for them, they provided it. David's is great. David's is spectacular. David's a superstar. David getting, basically he's still over 47% of all the Bruins points. He 3 of 7 tonight again, and setting the team record, but that 13 in a row, that is going to be with Mario, Wayne, and Yager for a really long time still. That's not going anywhere. That list, the next time the list pops up, will be 10 years from now, and it'll be those names on it, which is pretty cool. But Geeky's the one that I like talking about. We've talked about it a couple times here and a couple times on TV, and that the guy got healthy scratched, and not just once, not just twice, 3 times in a row. And I was on the trip in St. Louis and Dallas, and he's working and skating and doing extra, and he's sitting, and the Bruins are still losing, but he's not getting in the lineup, and he's up. His deal's up at the end of this year. That's stress. That's a lot to take, and a lot of guys don't. Even though it was only 2 months, a lot of guys don't work themselves out of that, and he did. And then he found himself.
How does he work himself out of that? How do you do that?
Well, you persevere, you grit. It's grit. It's all the things you teach your kids to be. That's what it is. There's nothing physical about it. It's just strictly staying positive and having a good mindset and working through it and just trying to be ready and take the chance that when you get it. And he was able to do that, able to take advantage.
I remember much earlier in the season, Bruins played Tampa, and Morgan's brother Connor. Remember, he was up. Yep. He was getting more attention, somewhat because of we didn't expect him to be always this big kid, always different look than Morgan than Morgan is. But Morgan has turned it around. I'm looking to pull up again since what you're talking about, those healthy scratches, what he has done. I mean, it's really just phenomenal.
Yes.
Where he has brought his game to his production since there's so many different ways that you can slice and dice this up.
The big one is like back from middle of November, because that was the St. Louis, Dallas, Montgomery got fired, and then he took off. It's crazy.
Well, I can tell you alone in his last 35 games, coming into this one, he had 33 points, so a point a game player. You add in a couple of more tonight. He's literally a point a game player.
Yeah.
In 36 now, he's got 36 points, right? 35, 36 points. Great stuff from him. And I know we touched on it the other day, but the value of his next contract now, I mean, literally every single game continues to be solidified. And, I guess it's a good problem for him to have, but yet you hope it doesn't lead to a lengthy negotiation. But it may end up happening. He'll be signed. It's just a matter of what they end up agreeing to. Is it very short term or do they go long term? It's going to be very interesting to see where they go with this deal.
Oh, no question. No, I'm just pulling up, he's got the same amount of goals as Sidney Crosby and Austin Matthews.
Not bad.
30 goals is legit. Matthews, Geeky, Makar, Protas, Jarvis, Duchesne, Forsberg, Brady Tkachuk. These are the names that he's in the middle of. Rantanen,
that's such
Johnson.
A wide range of type of player there.
Yep.
And the one guy that jumps out at me that you brought up right there is Alexei Protas, who is injured right now, but is at 36 goals this year. And he had 23 last year. And was it last year or the year before, I believe it was last year, that Washington got him under a longer term contract. They did one of those, hey, we'll offer you more as a young kid because we see the potential in you. They gave him a contract. I think it was a 5-year deal, Razor, at $3.375 a year. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's an unbelievable deal for the Washington Capitals if this guy's going to continue scoring 30 plus goals. I mean, an absolute fleece. Fleecing's not the right. That's they won that deal. If you're looking for a winner and loser,
they projected properly.
Oh, did they ever? Holy shit! That's an understatement.
Yeah.
I mean, and I understand Protus took it, a year ago, and said, "Okay, I'm looking forward.
I'll put 17 million in my bank.
I'll put 17 in my pocket. Who knows what I'm going to get?"
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, Geeky's going to be $1.5 million more than that, no matter what.
I don't see. Yeah, he has to get paid. He has to get paid. Again, he's in different company now. It just put a 30-goal guy doing what he's doing is it's cool. And again, when you start projecting forward with the Bruins, you would have a guy that that's your pair with David Pastrnak. That's the and if you can figure out the center stuff, then even better. But your Geeky and Pasta, they're working together, and offensively it works.
Okay, and we're going to do a big season finale show in a couple of days and stuff and all that. But I'm still going to ask this, given that David's hit 100 points again now for 3 years in a row. Is this Pasternak's best year? He had 110 last year, 113 the year before. We know what happened in the 113-point season. I mean, I guess, we have the clarity of hindsight 2020. The team lost in after that epic season. But
where David was the best player in the playoffs, by the way, that year and last year. And you have the stat tonight that says why this is his best year.
Right. What is it? 65 on 5.
It's 61 now because I was going into the second, I think, or into the third, and he got the
into
assist
the third.
On Geeky.
Okay, so it's 60 or 61. So
he's probably in the lead.
60 or 61, 5 on 5 points this year. The power play, as you point out last year, I mean, we've pointed out ad nauseum, has been so poor all year, where he usually made his pasta. You know what I mean? That's where he handmade his pasta. And not this year. So you could make the argument, given what the Bruins do not have surrounding him this year, that this is his greatest year, most impressive year as an NHLer. Pretty heady stuff.
It is. Kucherov, McKinnon, Draisaitl, Pastrnak. That's the other thing that makes this 100 points even more impressive, is because scoring is down a little bit, or at least point-wise. Mm-hmm. McDavid, Draisaitl, Kucherov got to like 150, 155 last year. Those points are down, which makes this 100 even more impressive. And the fact he's done it with essentially nobody. And I say that respectfully again to Morgan, Geeky, and everybody. And absolutely, not essentially, but absolutely without a power play. Kucherov's got 4
without 2 defensemen. Without the top 2 defensemen.
Literally no
defenseman.
Lineup. There's nobody to get him the pot, like in any situation. No freebies, no secondary assists. He's 20 points behind Kucherov on power play points. He's 15 behind McKinnon. He'd be leading the league. Again, it's just it's staggering. It really is staggering. So yes, it's his best season with all of those circumstances involved.
Awesome. Totally awesome to watch. We are going to do everything in our power to get a morning brew with Jaffe and Razor with David Pastrnak after the season.
Yep.
We got to figure out a way to make that happen. He might go to Worlds. That's the only thing. He might.
He will. He will.
Think.
It's in Sweden. He lived in Stockholm, basically, where his town was. But
and Czech won it. Czechia won it last year too.
Correct. So he's got to defend. They'll be great again. But that's not till like May, so he might have a little bit of time to have a beer with us.
That would be great. So impressive. So congratulations to both of them for hitting a milestone. His pass to Morgan Geeky is just masterful. Puck comes to the right wing side. He ends up doing a pull-up move. There's some pressure. There's a lot of traffic. Everybody's focused on him. And then he does a cutback move, and he's already recognized that Morgan Geeky's all by himself off to the blocker side of Markstrom, and he still finds a way to zip it through some traffic over to him. And Geeky puts it in. It was almost like he didn't raise his arm to Selly much, neither did Geeky. It was almost just like, yeah, great stuff. Nice, it was like, oh boy.
Yeah, like Zadorov comes in and he's holding his head. You can tell I didn't notice it during the play, like on the play, but you'd see it in the replay. Like New Jersey has no idea where Morgan Geeky is. Markstrom can't believe he's there. No one can believe he's there. But David recognizes it 3 seconds before he gets the puck. He's playing chess.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
All right, so congrats again to those guys. Moving on to some other really good performances. I think that one that has to be talked about most, or first at the very least, is Fabian Lysell. If only because we have had him under the microscope, and understandably so. By far, not even close, best game as an NHLer. Obviously, it's a short sample size or small sample size for Fabian Lysell. And you're talking just his 9th game. But take out the stats, and he gets an assist, which is awesome on the Minton goal, and deservedly so. But take out the assist. It was just the optics, as I like to say, Razor, the eye test said this was a different player. Is it going to be the moment that we look at and say, finally? I don't know. Thankfully, yes. I mean, it's a great start. Build off this kid. You got a game on Thursday at home against Chicago that you should feel and look as confident as you did against the New Jersey Devils on Tuesday night. He looked like a different player to me.
If I'm one of the coaches, I'm grabbing Fabian Lysell before he, let him go get his food, get up to the front of the plane. I'm putting my arm around him on the plane, and we're going to watch every single one of his shifts. And I'm going to say, look at this, look at this, look at this. This is it. This is it. This is it. And do this again Thursday. It's very simple. Like whatever you did tonight, do it again Thursday. And give him a hug for it, because again, that's it. If he does that, he can play in the National League, and he's going to get his points, and he'll continue to get better, and he's skilled. He
was all over.
He was all over, and it's not not a lot of people can do it either. Like there's been call-ups that haven't looked like he did tonight. That's the other key that he needs to know, and he needs to embrace and also continue to build on. But there was something there tonight, and I'm glad that he's got his 9 games to show that at this point. Now he's got 3, and you have to do that 3 more times for me. If I'm the general manager, if I'm the coach, whatever, I need to see that 3 more times.
We've talked so much about this. We've talked about, do these 3 games or 4 games remaining or whatever it was matter for a guy like Swayman? Meaning, and we both agreed, no, it doesn't.
Nope.
But if Fabian Lysell has 3 more good games in a row, big if he does,
and what? Has a great playoff run in Providence.
Okay, and playoff run in Providence. Okay, we're playing the right now. All of a sudden, people are saying, well, at least we feel like there's a chance that he can help this team. Because if he doesn't have a good end of the season, it will impact him more than it will a veteran player or a more senior player. Because the microscope is on him so much, and because he just has to produce right now. He just absolutely has to. So this was a really good start towards that. Let's just hope Thursday night is the next step in that process.
exactly. That's that's it. That's his focus. But tonight was it, and again, if he does that, right, and this is the key too, because if he does do that for the next 3 games, then you look back at the entire body of 12 games and you say, oh, he was building to this.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, if he just has 1 game and the other 3 go away, then there's no building, and then you say, he just didn't cut it. But if he does build, if he does get better in all these games, then the last 8 games don't matter. That's the beauty of being a young guy too, is you can change things in 60 minutes. You can change narratives very quickly right now, and that's what he has to continue to do.
Let's see if he can. I mean, it's a nice thing. We both enjoyed watching it. I know the guys, Judd and Brick calling the game did. Joe Sacco enjoyed it. We all enjoyed watching it because it was different. We needed to see it.
Doing well.
we need to see it, right. It's okay to root for guys to do well. He 100%. Hasn't done well before. He did well tonight. Let's see if he can build off that. Like you said, if he does, great. If he doesn't, watch out. The other player that did well in this game, and it was well, a lot of other players did well, but the other player I just want to talk about is Michael Callahan, getting his first goal. This is an interesting player, a Group 6 UFA. I'm trying to figure out where he fits, if he fits at all with this team. He was up for a while. He was down for a while when I thought he would be up. Then he comes back up, in and out of the lineup. Michael ends up scoring his first NHL goal. He played over 18 minutes. He had a few shots towards the net. One hit it. One went in, the one that went in over the blocker's side. And I've actually found him to be at times, of course, he's an older young player, meaning, he's been in the American League, 3-4 years and everything. But I found him to be noticeable tonight, and to top it off, he gets rewarded for his first ever goal. Again, it's a happy thing to celebrate. And folks, you all know, if you're listening to us right now, you know that we've all been through this together. We haven't had a lot to cheer for, so we're enjoying these little things.
Yeah, exactly, and for him being a local kid, that you don't want to get called up to the Bruins and not score. That's something you can have, and you'll be telling everybody at the VFW in Franklin for the rest of your life. So that's that can't be taken from you in this region, especially. It's special, and that's it was nice of him to get that. And again, to your point, he's played well when he's come in very tough situation. Like, he hasn't been around for McAvoy and Lindholm together, eating a bunch of minutes, and him just kind of doing his thing. He's been put in a lot of different interesting situations that most younger guys like him don't get. So I thought he's always handled himself well. I like his defensiveness. I like the fact that he hit the referee in the back today.
It's a different kind of way of describing the front and the back. Yeah. I was going to ask you about that, actually.
So that made my night. The fact that he ripped that wrist.
He should get a credit for another shot on goal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, Runes. I next time Runes has him, I bet he calls a penalty on him for sure for that one.
The referee, in case folks you did not see the play, the referee we're discussing is Chris Rooney. Michael Callahan's behind his net, just comes to the side of Swayman, and he doesn't seem to look and see that Rooney's in the corner. And I'm not sure where he's totally shooting the puck. Was he thinking he was going to kind of go off because it wasn't like it was, I don't know. All I know is he somehow absolutely nails Rooney. I think right in the gotchkis. I mean,
it was, yeah,
right there, and down goes Rooney, and understandably so. And then the look on the official's face was, we can laugh about it now because he was
he's okay, folks.
Priceless.
He's okay.
But I don't think that Rooney can be a little surly, grumpy.
Oh yeah, he's a grump. He's a grump now. He's an old man at that. So that's a highlight too. But no, the reality is Callahan's, hey, when you're a UFA 6 and you get 20 games in the NHL, you put yourself in a good spot. When you score a goal, that's going to be even better, and he's going to have some options.
He'll have some options. That's his 16th game of the season, and he gets his first goal. Let's quickly mention our sponsors. Besides Fazenda Coffee, we have two other great sponsors with this show. Graciano Construction has been with us all season long, serving Boston and the greater Metro West area. And as I always like to say, and depending, where they are and what they have available to do at that time, maybe even a little further outside of that area, because Graciano Construction is the contractor that will help you refresh and revitalize your space. They can and will do it all. They do it with class. They do it with the ultimate professionalism. They are such a joy to work with. Doug Graciano and his crew somehow make doing home projects seem less stressful and even fun at times. They're about respecting the customer and making sure the customer is thrilled at the end. Check out GracianoConstruction.com or call Doug and his company at 508-330-7589 to discuss what you are looking to do. Also, Sunset Lake CBD. They've got their organic farm in northern Vermont. They grow, they harvest, and ship all of its craft CBD products directly from its farm in northern Vermont straight to your door, so you can skip the lines and you can find your relief and get your relaxation from Sunset Lake CBD products. Razor, last night, Vic said to me, which product did you take? And I said, I did the melatonin. I did the tincture under the tongue. I'm following directions. And then, for good measure, I took just a good night gummy. So I took a little of the tincture and then a gummy, because that's what, I was advised to do, whatever. She says, well, whatever you did at work, you were talking in your sleep. You didn't say anything bad, but you were out. I never, if I've ever talked in my sleep, don't have any idea what I said or didn't know I did it. But anyways, I was out and it helped me beautifully, because Sunset Lake CBD products work. They have products to help you relax and sleep. If you had a tough day at work, try some of their gummies or tinctures. They've also got stuff to help you focus too. I mean, they got topicals. So if you've gone to the gym or if you're going skating and playing men's league somewhere and, pretending you're pasta, whatever, and you need it afterwards because you're sore, hey, take some Sunset Lake CBD topical stuff too. It all works and it's awesome stuff. If you order over $75, Sunset Lake CBD can ship your order for free. Use the code BRU20 for 20% off your entire order. Check them out, sunsetlakecbd.com. Love all of our sponsors, and we thank them tremendously for it. Fraser Minten gets his first goal as a Boston Bruin, his third as an NHLer. Again, like the rest of the team, much better than in Buffalo. And I thought Joe Sacco brought up a good point. The Buffalo game was a stretch of a lot of games for Fraser. I think it may have been at least 3 and 4, maybe 4 and 6. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. My brain is not
and
there,
just
but
to have
regardless.
the whirlwind of having to go up there for the Saturday game, playing at home, getting on a plane, and then just playing the next game. It's a brutal turnaround for any kid. It's just a lot. So, and we talked about it in the pregame, like, hey, let's see him go tonight. Let's get back to the level that he had on Saturday night, and he did. He couple big hits. Got put in a tough spot in the second period. Shouldn't have given him the puck there. Probably should have went up the wall rather than trying to hit him in the middle on the second goal, the hurdle goal. Mm-hmm. And then he gets his goal. So it's that's a big night for him. Again, he's in a different spot than Lysell, and you mentioned that in the post game where this is extra time for him. This is the cherry on top where you get some games at the end, and then he gets to go and really push himself in the playoffs, in the Calder Cup playoffs as a young guy, as a 20-year-old. And that's really where he gets his chops, where a lot of 20-year-olds, I mean, most NHLers as 20-year-olds have played in the Calder Cup playoffs and have had to have big roles there.
And I think it's worth just quickly re-mentioning, you just referred to it. He's 2 years younger than Fabian Lysell, but Fabian Lysell's played over 160 games in the American League. So there's a huge difference. Fraser Minten had played 30, I think it was, 36, something like that. 15 in the NHL. He had some more in the American League. So he's really a first-year guy. The pressure on him is incredibly different than it is on a guy like Fabian Lysell. The expectations are very different. but you still want to see him succeed, and you want to see both of those guys really relish and embrace and be, I guess the term, like productive, more than productive, very productive, I guess, Razor, in the American League playoffs. I mean, that's what you want. But I definitely think the pressure is far less, at least external pressure. I can't speak to his internal pressure. He seems like a mellow kid. This is without really talking to him at all. But he seems like he's got that mellowness to him that helps keep him kind of like you, just kind of like maybe external, or maybe internally you're grinding a bit, but he seems to project that he's very calm, and I like that. I do. I think that that's great. I think that will help him in his quest to make the NHL, because he'll be up and down. There's no doubt about it coming up, next year. I mean, I don't, I'd love to see him as a full timer. My guess is it's not quite there just yet.
It doesn't. Again, he's going to have to, break a door down here if that's what he's going to do through the playoffs. And even then, it feels like the Bruins have to sign more guys that put him a little bit out, and that he's going to have to fight for it, going into the next season. And that's perfect. That's what you want from a 21-year-old kid. So, again, just awesome that he got a goal before it, again, similar to Callahan, and that, like, hey, I got a goal. I don't have to hear about that next year. I get that stuff out of the way. It's nice to get that random stuff out of the way. I just feel like it frees you up as a player, that you're not worrying about your first goal. You're worrying about your first win. You're not worried about your first point. Like, all of it's gone. And then, he'll really have an idea what it takes next year.
Good job from Joe Sacco calling a timeout at the 3-2 mark.
Yeah.
After the Bruins had got 3-0. Beautiful shot, by the way, in this game too, from Jacob Lauko. Let's see where he's going to end up when it's all said and done. But, I'm happy for him. He's a wonderful person. Great shot coming down that left side, makes it 3-0, sizzles it upstairs past the blocker side of Jacob Markstrom. Like, Razor, if I was, I don't know how anybody's getting pucks by Markstrom, given his size. Right. I know there's other big goalies in the league, but I got to tell you something. He did not look big to me tonight. He didn't. He did not. He had pucks beating him upstairs almost all game long. The first one from Pastrnak beat him above the pad, below the glove, with just a sublime shot. But a lot of the others were all up top on him. And again, you're 6'6", 230, 228, 230, whatever it is. It's interesting that you get. I think that you get beat. I know these guys are the best players in the world. I understand it. I understand release and vision and stuff, but still, I felt like he was down quickly, and the guys took advantage of that.
No, I don't understand how he gives up 7 ever. Because I like him. But he gets holy. Like the middle stack goal, that changes things. Like, just moving too much as a big guy. It'd be easier sometimes. And So yeah, he played a little small. Wasn't his night by any means either, but the Lauko, yeah, and similar again. Lauko, I don't know what his future is, but it's nice. He hasn't scored since he got back, so he feels good tonight. So that's nice.
It's a great shot, and it was a great shot. I know a lot of people are talking about the draft coming up, and I get it. Bruins win as we sit here and record this show.
They had a win. They had a win to burn. So.
They did, yes. Utah is now up as we sit and record this, 7-0 on Seattle.
Seattle's mailing it in. Seattle is
so the so-called race to the bottom. There's a bit of, to borrow a phrase from Bruce Cassidy, toggling going on. There's a lot of up and down. You're not going to catch, as far as draft position, San Jose, Chicago, Nashville. You are battling Seattle, Philadelphia, and potentially Pittsburgh. Maybe not, but
Anaheim too, right?
Anaheim's got 76. Yeah. So they're a few above, right?
You have one more win because Seattle's 1 point ahead of you. You can't go past that.
And what we're obviously talking about is draft positioning potential,
because you're in 5th now.
Right. You have the 5th fewest points. So you're the 5th worst record right now, as is without the draft lottery. You would draft number 5. If somebody below you, though, and I don't mean below you as in worse, or I guess it would technically be above you. If one of the teams in the lottery above you wins it, then they would jump up and you would bounce down another spot. So you would drop down. So anyways, we'll see. We're not advocating.
Let's not do that until the ball's actually.
No,
finished,
I know.
No, I just realized because I've been doing it kind of, and I'm like, you know what? Actually, now that you say it, talk about the ball, like someone dropping the lottery and stuff, like I'm not thinking about it again.
Listen, this is the problem with a season like this. This is what becomes of it.
I know.
That's just what becomes. And you don't want to be the type of person that's rooting for it. And I'm not. I'm not. It's just it's talking. There's a lot of talk about it. So we're just saying that right there. But anyways, listen, the players are proud. They come through tonight. So it's 2 out of 3 that they've won. They feel a little bit better. They've got 3 games left. Thursday, Chicago, Sunday, Pitt, Tuesday at home against New Jersey again. 3 games that really don't matter much. I mean, when I say matter much for any of the teams,
anybody,
Chicago is what it is. Pitt and Boston are right, real close to each other. And then the last game against Jersey. Jersey's established in that number 2-3 matchup in the Metropolitan Division. So we'll see. All right, Razor, you are going back to college. You're like Rodney Dangerfield. You're going back to college for Thursday night and working the Frozen Four. You're going to have some fun with that. So we will not do a show after Thursday's game. Maybe, folks, we will keep you posted, but maybe Sunday evening after the Pittsburgh game. Maybe Sunday evening, Sunday night, we'll record another show. So we get one in. We'll do one after Tuesday or maybe Wednesday, and then we will do a big season finale show as well. So we got a couple more Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razors during this part of the season, and then we'll see both of us busy with other stuff for a little bit, but we'll keep you posted. Anyways, our Bruins win 7-2. A lot of good stuff happening. Congratulations again, David Pastrnak and Morgan Geeky. Congratulations to Michael Callahan. Everybody getting involved. Good stuff. And, we're smiling. Again, first time for us since January 20th. So
unbelievable.
We enjoyed that. Everybody take care. Enjoy your coffee.